That fat guy catch a cannonball in his stomach in slow motion.
Nakedness?
Jason,
are you looking for nakedness?
I guess.
I kind of like negativity better.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamorro. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight. He ain't doing nothing but running his mouth. Talk about it, we all about it. They making plans, we sit and count.
I just got an alert. There's a baseball game going on right now. I sort of forgot about the Tokyo series. It's happening right now.
It is coming up, isn't it?
I just got the alert saying it is underway. Oh.
No, opening day.
Oh, opening day. Yeah. Well, actually, the game's been going on for quite a while. The score is 3-1 LA, bottom of the 7th. I guess it started at 6 a.m. or 6 a.m. Eastern, which would be 5 a.m. our time. Way to be locked in, Jen. Good morning, everybody. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy underway. No Gabe, just Chewy, myself, and Joshy today. And it sounds like, Chew, you got yourself a little neighbor issue, huh? You got yourself a little neighbor issue down there in Florida?
Every house, there's got to be an issue. Just every house. And I'm a pseudo a lot of things, and this is what I'll revert to. I'm a pseudo doctor. I'm a pseudo lawyer. I'm a pseudo farmer. I'm a pseudo everything. Not all the way in. I like to dip my toes in the water. So I had it at the two previous houses. Still hate the one neighbor. Can't stand him. Let me put this together. So the lake, when we first move in there, farmer lives next door. Nicest guy. Found out he's the nicest guy in the world. But when the first time I cut the lawn there, I cut 6 inches too far on his lawn. So the next week when I go to cut the lawn, he put plow sticks on the lot line.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm like, are you kidding? What is the matter with people? What is 6 inches?
Wait, so you cut part of his lawn. And
6 inches.
And he was like, no, thank you. Don't you cut my lawn.
But there's no barrier. There's no bushes. It's just straight shot of grass from the road to the lake, right? 6 inches. I'm like, what's the matter with people? So then here, right? But we had 2 hurricanes back to back within 10 days, right? And there is an ivy bush on this guy's property that is kind of a barrier as an extension to the fence because there's laws down here, you know, like Wisconsin, you can't have a pool without a fence enclosing it in case kids wander and do that, right?
Yep.
So clearly on his... So there is a makeshift kind of support in the middle of it to help hold it up because it can be top heavy and flop. So it was rusting or rotting or whatever, and he wants us to split the cost. This is about 1.5 years ago. We've been in here 6 months. We're like, fine. We don't want to make any ruffles or anything like that. We'll get the guy, split the cost, even though it's clearly on his property. So the thing dies. Saltwater comes up from Helene, kills the thing, right? Well, let's see. He's going to wait and see if it comes back. Doesn't come back, wants to tear it down. We're like, fine, right? Older guy. One of these guys that of like, oh, I've been in the neighborhood the longest. I get to tell everyone what to do. Well, not when it comes to the old Mark Chamorro. Not how it works in my book. So I'm spreading rocks about, a month ago?
Yep.
Bitching about the whole thing. He comes over with his papers. I'm about 4 hours into it, not in the best mood, and he's trying to, I want to do this. I'm like, talk to my wife. I don't handle stuff like this. Brushed him off. I don't know I don't really care if he liked it or not. So then yesterday, Angie goes over there. Well, I'm ripping this out and doing this. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to rip down the rest of the remaining fence and put an aluminum fence all the way up. And she's like, did you buy our property without us knowing at some point in time?
Did she say that?
I don't think she did, but she said something to the fact of, get bent. It's my fence. I'll do whatever the hell I want.
Right.
So I don't know if there's a rift now or whatever, but don't ever tell me what to do on my property. That's my rule number one.
All right, I want to make sure, Chew, I'm following this. So you guys, obviously there's a property line between his property and your property. On the
Correct.
property line was this ivy bush.
On his side.
On his side. But he asked you guys to purchase what? The trestle? The thing,
split.
The
Yes.
thing it climbs?
To repair it.
Yeah,
yes.
okay. So the thing it climbs. Okay.
Correct.
So you guys did it initially when you first moved in because you didn't know any better 6 months in, right?
Sure.
Now
Yep.
now the bush is dead. He rips it out. He wants you to take the trestle, replace the trestle,
No, he
change
is going
the fence. What's the scoop there?
We own the fence. He's telling us what he wants there for a fence. A foot inside the property line, the fence is ours. You know? So Angie's like, go, you know.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Got it.
Go away.
Pound sand.
You know? But every damn house, there's always a problem. There's nothing my neighbors could do that would bother me. Really.
Well,
But I could find a couple.
well.
And say if you want to make it a challenge, I could figure out some ideas.
Do you think most people like their neighbors? Joshy, do you like your neighbors?
Wouldn't know them if they walked into the room and sat down.
Which
next to
are
me.
the greatest neighbors?
My upstairs neighbors now, we share an actual house. They are upstairs,
Yeah.
we are downstairs. Great people. Enjoy them a lot. Very friendly, helpful when they need to be. The people across the street, down the street, don't know them. The guy I know the best is the old guy who wants to pet my dog.
How
That's about
much
it.
does liking your neighbors, knowing your neighbors, enhance your living experience? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think we're working with here? A 3?
Yeah.
No, at the
4?
lake. I mean, you guys been to the lake. At the lake, you have
Not
to
me.
like your neighbors, right? You have
Well,
to.
because you guys share so much space, right?
Yes.
Like you got your frontage and then you got their frontage and you're kind of all sharing the frontage.
It's
and-
got to work.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you're out there, you talk to them, you tie up next to them, you have some beverages. That's a whole different community.
lifestyle, whole
Yeah.
different lifestyle. But generally speaking, I mean, this to me feels like a product of a bygone era. My parents knew our neighbors, every single one, and they'd have driveway beers. At the end of the driveway, everybody grabs a beer at 5 o'clock or whatever, and you kind of stand out there. My brother, who lives in Illinois, man, he has a great neighborhood. They are getting together all the time. They're doing all kinds of stuff, block parties and this party and that party. They just got really lucky with a neighborhood where everyone is generally about their age. They've all got young kids, so the kids all play together, and they rave about their neighborhood. My neighborhood is great. I don't know a lot of my neighbors. I know a few of them. The ones I know I like. But for the most part, I couldn't tell you who lives in the house 2 doors down, 3 doors down, 4 doors. Forget about it.
But you got Nosy Nelly Trash Guy, though.
Well, I mean, I didn't call him Nosy Nelly Trash Guy. That's your words. But the guy who would like us to bring in our garbage can a lot quicker than we have in the past. He's also the guy that put up trees. There was a clearing area between his house and our house, and he put up 4, evergreen trees. Babies, but they'll grow. And that, created a very distinct divide, which whatever, fine, doesn't bother us. It's just we noticed it when we moved in. Do you think most people like their neighbors, Chew?
That is a good question. Do most people like their neighbors? I'm going to say if you have 5 neighbors around your house, I'm going to say you like 3 of them.
Which I think is a pretty good number. To
Yeah,
like 3
that's
of your
fair.
neighbors. Are you more, Joshy, of a this is my space, that's your space, we can, share the sidewalk and whatnot, but we don't need to be chums. We don't need to be pals.
I mean, for me, it's a little different. I have never really laid down, as we've talked about on here, roots for a long time. So I'm friendly with people, and I will. I often have the face of whatever about me. People like to come up and talk to me from the neighborhood.
You got to fix that.
Yeah, I don't know why. Mussolini always comments on it. No one stops me. And it's yeah, well, everyone stops me. I don't know what to do about it. But something about me says hey, come talk to me. I'm a nice guy, which I don't necessarily love all the time. But as long as you're not doing anything nefarious, I'm going to leave you be you. But if they're we participate in neighborhood stuff, when they have block parties or like Halloween, they do a big celebration. Like, we go to that stuff. I'm not, like, stopping and introducing myself, but I'm participating, and I'm trying to be a member of my neighborhood.
Do you get trapped? Because yesterday, now my thing is to go get the mail when the sun is just coming up, and I was halfway to the mailbox, and I'm like, damn it, someone's walking this way. So I peeled off like I had to pick some weeds out of the grass. I did a hard left.
He goes out of his way to not talk to people.
I had a woman, as I was getting out of my car, come and stand and like hold my door and talk to me about her car getting sideswiped and if I had seen anything. And I was like, I mean, yeah, but like, could you give me a little personal space? But then I was out there for 15 minutes and I heard about her kids and how long she's lived in the neighborhood. So, I mean, whatever it is about me, I just seem like to track that.
This is a very Larry David scenario, by the way. Like, someone comes up to you to ask you an important question, right? Her car was sideswiped. Did you see anything? I need a witness. I need someone to let me know what happened here, for legal reasons and all of those things. I can see Joshy setting a timer. Person walks up to him, he pulls out his phone, and he sets a timer. And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm setting a timer. And she says, for what? Well, because you get 5 minutes.
You got 5. You got to get everything out.
Well, how do you know what I'm going to say? Well, it can't take more than 5 minutes. This is what you got.
When you go to the gym, right, and old people, some of them are lonely, and they go to the gym to talk. You can't make eye contact at the gym,
I think that's my big issue in the neighborhood.
Because then
the eye contact?
If you get eye contact, you're done. Yeah.
Well, I think it's pleasant if you're walking by somebody in your neighborhood to look at them and smile.
I feel the same way.
And I thought we all incorrectly assumed that we're all on the same thing. You say hi, you smile, and you keep going.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Hey, how are you? Great. Good. See you later. Right? It's a drive-by.
Perfect conversation.
Very much a drive-by. 800-990-3776. Do you like your neighbors? Very simple question this morning. And if you have any bad neighbor stories, we would love to hear them. 800-990-3776. So Chewy's neighbor brought paperwork over to try to get him to, I don't know, what was the paperwork for? Paperwork was
I have no idea.
Look
official. Yeah. Look official. Like, here's what I want you to do on your property. I'm like, man.
Now, I'm certainly in a different tax bracket. Never owned a home either. It seems absurd to me that someone would tell you what you should do on your like, that seems like a non-starter that it seems like beyond me. It seems like such poor form. Like, what do you mean you want me to do this? No, you do it. You put up something here instead. This isn't my business.
Yeah, but you think we dropped the ball on repairing the support for the ivy that was clearly on his property? We should have said, no, that's not. That's your property. But
you didn't know. You started, that was early on. You're trying to develop a rapport. Right. You're trying to be neighborly. 800-990-3776. Adam in the 920 says, this is why you need neighbors like mine. Cornfields, deer, and turkey. Oh. Farmers are the best neighbors there are. 800-990-3776. I do think that the fencing and the separating of the properties is one of those things that could go either way. You could be on board with him and be like, absolutely, yeah, no problem. Again, when our guy next to us put up the 4 evergreen trees there was a small clearing. Everything else is covered in like trees and brush and, so there was a obvious defined line, except for in this one area. And so he went and put these 4 trees up. And now again, it doesn't bother us at all. But when it happened, there was a moment of like, oh, okay, so, okay, you want to put some trees up between our properties? Fine. I know we got kids and whatnot. We're loud over here. You probably want a little bit of a sound barrier as well. Don't want to look into our messy garage because they're notoriously neat. So, but again, didn't take it personally, just made a mental note.
But that told you a lot, though, Jen, right? Like, hey, perfect. That's your side. This is our side.
800-990-3776. Let's go out to Randy in a dump truck. Good morning, Randy. You're on with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Good morning. I got a neighbor. He's kind of a sneaky guy, and I told him, I said, Bob, I'm your neighbor, but I'm not neighborly. And we have a real good relationship. He don't talk to me, and I don't talk to him.
Yeah. I love it.
Chewy, you better steal that. You better steal that, Chewy. Thanks, Randy, for the call. I do like the idea of we're neighbors, but we're not friends, because that is a very distinctive delineation. Chewy, you like that line?
I do, but I'm just remembering another thing the guy said. I mean, he's probably a nice guy. He's just a little confused because he's like, hey, we're going away for 2 months. This is after everything. Could you get our packages, and then we'll get your packages all throughout the summer? So I can't really dislike. I don't know. I just don't. Maybe it's because I don't get him. I just don't get him because he is super nice, but
couldn't you respond? So he suggested, here's what you should do on your property to close this fence. Why don't you say, well, we helped you with the ivy. Why don't you help us with the fence? And we can go 50-50 on it, or whatever the consummate amount is.
He'd never do that.
Well, then you tell him to pound sand and.
Well, here's the thing.
Your packages are going to rot, buddy.
So there's a 12-foot gap where the ivy's coming out, and the fence goes from there to the water, which is probably 30 feet, 35 feet, and that fence is brand new.
You're not really in the market for putting up a new fence, huh? Is what I'm picking up here. You guys don't really want to put up a new fence?
I mean, this one is fine. And it matches. hold on, Jen. It matches the fence on the other side of the house.
Sure, symmetry.
So am I going to have two different fences, or am I going to rip? It's just
what seems like happened here is your neighbor thought he spotted a sucker with the whole first ivy thing. And he didn't realize which sort of animal he was dealing with now that it goes back with other ideas.
800-990-3776. Do you like your neighbors? Choose having a bit of a conflict with his next door neighbor in Florida, and your best bad neighbor tales. Give them to us this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. All right, now that we're all warmed up, let's get to Jason Wilde. He's next on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Got a lot of questions for Jason, including, I wonder if Jason likes his neighbors. We'll talk to him about that right after this.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Eastbound 94 backing up now out of the Zoo Interchange all the way to Holly Road. There is a broken down vehicle off on the right shoulder, and that's what's causing a bit of a distraction. So watch out for that. We've also got northbound 43 slowing down from Center Street up towards Keefe. The southbound side looks pretty good. As a matter of fact, all the way around the block, around the bypass, is actually looking pretty quiet. Traffic is brought to you by Adams, the #1 rated Generac dealer in Wisconsin. Severe weather has arrived. Don't be left with no power. For a power peace of mind for your home or business, visit adamspower.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Mostly cloudy and mild, a high in the 40s to the north, 53 in Milwaukee, 60s to the south. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 40. Weather's brought to you by Burnsy's Bar and Grill on 97th and Greenfield, your college hoops headquarters. Catch all the action on their 29 TVs and enjoy drink specials during the games. Burnsy's Bar and Grill. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Buying a roof, siding, or windows can feel overwhelming. Hidden costs, confusing contracts. We don't play that game. We educate you so that you can decide. And when you know the facts, Infinity Exteriors is the clear choice. Since 1997, we've installed peace of mind with no surprise upcharges, flexible budgets, and immediate financing. Infinity Exteriors, saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever. That's 4 lines on unlimited welcome for just $25 a line per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. You'll also get the new iPhone 16 Pro, 4 of them for the entire family when you trade in up to 4 phones from our top brands. That's a new phone for everyone, only on the network you can count on. Verizon. Visit a store today. 20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. How is it sharp? How is it electric? Good questions. Try this on for size. 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime, forcing, playoffs on the line, golf. With 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Atlanta, Boston, Jupiter, LA, New York, and the Bay. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. Tune in every week for TGL matches, only on ESPN. Keep up. It's golf.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Ready, down, put.
All Packers, all the time.
He was a field tilting player, and the reason why Gabe and many others are so concerned is that this guy's on the field, he changes the offensive dynamic. They are a different offense when he is there.
Okay, most of the time.
You know, Homer calls Matt LaFleur soft all the time. Matt LaFleur is like Vince Lombardi compared to me.
It's Jason Wilde on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Keep your bad neighbor stories rolling in here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. 800-990-3776. Our carbless talk and text line. Less is more. Jason Wilde, good morning. How do you get along with your neighbors? Chewy's having a conflict down in Florida.
I literally could not have been better timing for this topic. I literally am trying to beat the recycling truck. I don't have enough room in my recycling bin. Just put some extra recyclables in my neighbors, Jen and Andy's recycling bin because they had extra space. We love our neighbors. We have 2 sets of, really 3 because we live on a cul-de-sac, amazing neighbors. There are people down toward the end of the block who hate our dogs. And we live in one of those neighborhoods where they didn't put a sidewalk in, so you walk in the streets. And, I mean, I know some people have pooped in their neighbors' yards. My dogs sometimes do that, and yet I always clean it up. But they don't even want them coming into their yard. I'm like, they can't poop on concrete, and they're really, really vile about it. Like they are. We had a confrontation a few years ago. It was terrible. So
wow.
Yeah. And they used to have a dog themselves, so I don't know what their deal is. But otherwise, we are really, really, really fortunate. We've got an amazing neighborhood, and I'm so
we have that same Jason. We have that same issue here. I don't have dogs. But I don't care if they crap my lawn. But there's this one house that says, "Hey, I don't crap in your lawn. Don't let your dog crap in mine." Which I thought.
Well, if I leave it right, but if I leave it there, totally agree with you. I'm a jerk, but I don't do that. And then on top of that, there's these mineral rocks you can put in their water bowls. I know this is more information than you need as someone who doesn't have a dog, but it changes the pH balance of their pee, so it doesn't even
tomato juice
color your lawn.
Tomato juice does the same thing.
Really? I got to see if Stella's interested in drinking tomato juice. I doubt it.
Well, it is Wisconsin, and everyone loves their Bloody Marys, so maybe.
Sure.
Jason,
Chewy, I assumed you had a football question. I didn't want to keep the topic going, even though I would love to.
Joshy, who's the guy that just signed with someone?
Oh, my God.
Aziz Ojulari.
For $4 million, Jason. $4 million, which is like $250 in today's money.
Josh Myers money.
Why didn't they just take a flyer on him and try to upgrade the position?
Yeah, it's a very fair question, and I don't have a good answer for you. I mean, he's not. How old is he, Joshy? This guy who just signed for $4 million.
I believe he is under the age of 30. I will double check it though.
That's all we really care about, right? Like I was going through the wide receivers that are left too, right?
He's 24.
Diggs. Yeah, seems like, and he had 6 sacks. Like again, I don't know what they didn't like about him, or maybe they did like him. But that's like the one largely unaddressed obvious area of need, right? Like, we all know that their defensive line wasn't good enough. Their pass rush wasn't good enough. Matt LaFleur couldn't praise Jeff Hafley enough for conjuring up a pass rush out of essentially nothing. So I don't get it. And I try very hard not to be prisoner of the moment guy. And I always think, okay, he's got a plan. Thought that about Ron, thought that about Ted, think that about Goody. And the wide receiver piece I get, because he doesn't believe in guys over 30 at that position. And he wasn't going to give up the money or the draft capital for DK Metcalf. Like, when we talked about that, I always felt like that was not something that he would do, but there were reports that they were in the conversation. Turned out that they weren't, apparently, or maybe that's spin from the Packers side. Whatever it is, nothing available made sense to me for them other than Devonte, and I knew that would require Goody to do something he wouldn't normally do. Defensive line feels like a place where you take a little flyer like Chewy's talking about here, right? Or you also, by the way, you did lose TJ Slayton, who I'm not going to go so far as to say he's Cletus Hunt reincarnate, but he's a knucklehead. But the guy helped you be 7th in the league against the run, and now he's out the door. And I don't have a problem with him being out the door. The question I have is, there's nobody else on the market that appealed to you enough that he was worth adding? I keep going back to, and then I'll stop rambling, I keep going back to a quote from Goody at the Combine where he basically said, look, we went through some hard times to get in this position cap-wise, right? He was clearly referring to eating Bakhtiari money and eating $41 million of Rodgers money. Well, now they have this money, or this cap.
Uh-oh.
Do we lose Jason?
Their needs.
There he is.
The market isn't really compatible with their needs, and this is how you end up with a kind of a meh free agency period where you signed a guard to a blockbuster deal and you signed Nate Hobbs, and that's it.
Well, Jason, it does seem like then they're going to have to address that position in the draft. And while you can, have somebody who has an immediate impact, I often look at these draft guys as in 2 or 3 years, they could be really good. They could be contributors, but next year, unlikely. Like, frankly, I don't want rookies starting and playing major snaps, but it feels like Goody and I differ in that opinion. What do you think?
Oh, you don't differ in it. He thinks you're an idiot. I mean, he does, because I'm the...
Did we lose Jason?
The T-shirt.
Seems like
what in the world? So here's what's
here?
happening. So Jason drops out, then I say something, and then he comes right back. Yeah. So I look like a fool. Like, did we lose him? No, he's right there. All right, Jason, you're back.
I'm done in the recycling bin. I'm standing at my kitchen sink. Come on, Verizon, help me
Grab
out here.
some tinfoil, put it in the right hand, hold it up, and talk in the phone on your left.
And dance on one foot. Yeah, exactly.
But Jason, my thing with Goody is he does not use all the tools he has in order to improve this team. And I went back to Ron, right? Because Ron back in the day used trades a lot. You remember he signed Mike Pryor out of free agency, and he knew Pryor wasn't good enough. So what did he do? He went and traded for Eugene Robinson, right?
Right.
We lose Ed West, and we lose Jackie Harris. What's Ron do? Goes and gives a second-round pickup for Keith Jackson. There's a bunch of that stuff.
Right.
To me, he's just a strictly draft. Now, he does use free agency, but he only does it to fill starter positions. He doesn't do it to supplement position groups that struggle a little bit. I don't understand it. I just don't.
Well, the good news is if I keep dropping out, you just said everything that I would have said.
Oh.
Seriously. Like, one of my issues, it's good because I'm glad we're on the same page. Like, I always use Bruce Wilkerson as the perfect example. Dude saved your season. He did.
Yeah.
If he had been god-awful, you don't win the Super Bowl. Like, somebody eats your lunch with their pass rush, and you either don't get there despite how great your team was, or you get there and you get beat. And so, look, Goody has his philosophy. Going back to Jen's point, I couldn't agree with her more. But I can tell you, because I'm the one who asked the question about this 2 years ago, did the results of the 2023 season make you feel any differently about how you already felt about this being a young man's game? And his response, if you go back into the archives, was basically, it just solidified what I already believed. And then he went through this whole thing about how you have to be able to live through the growing pains in the first half of the season and the mistakes and the losses, frankly. And then on the other side, they come out and they're not rookies anymore. Well, yes, they are. And in critical moments, this is when, this is my issue. Like, Eric Wilson is another example of this. Like, I haven't seen the numbers on his contract because, frankly, I'm guessing that the insiders don't see those numbers as that important, so they don't bother to report them. Maybe I just missed them. But, like, he is your Mike Pryor, your Bruce Wilkerson.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy played damn well for them last year. He started 12 games. And I understand that Isaiah McDuffie has more upside, and certainly Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper have more upside. But if one of those guys breaks his leg, I want Eric Wilson available to me to go in there and play. And Goody just does not have that same philosophy. He's basically got, every so often. I mean, I kept saying when he got the job that he was more Ted than Ron, and it wasn't even close. And we had the cut Jordy, sign Jimmy Graham in 18, and then we had the big class in 19, and everyone thought, oh, my God, they're going to be a player in free agency all the time. No, they weren't. And now last year, hey, I said it to him in the press conference after the season. Those weren't home runs. Those were grand slams. And he said, thank you. I appreciate that. I said, you're welcome. But he isn't doing it again. Because, A, guys like that aren't on the market, and B, he doesn't want to tie himself into those types of big deals because he knows there are guys he wants to re-sign, which I know I said before free agency even started.
Jason, the other thing that we're paying attention to is the Jaire situation. Obviously, we all saw the money that Stingley got yesterday, which, could make Jaire seem like a bargain if you can get somebody to bite on it. I know I read the article that Rob Domofsky put out there saying there's no real deadline. They can wait as long as it takes to find a trade partner. But realistically, there must be a deadline. Are we talking training camp? Are we talking, I don't get the impression that they want Jaire on the roster. So how do you see this thing playing out?
Yeah, I thought Rob's story, which was essentially about Nate Hobbs, was really interesting if you read the whole thing, and obviously you did, because that stuff was what, I said from the very beginning, he doesn't have a roster bonus, which those are always the you-know-what or get-off-the-pot points early in March that force you to make a decision. Do you want this guy on your team or not? If you do, you pay him. If not, you release him or trade him because you don't want to pay him the roster bonus. Well, he doesn't have that in this contract at all. If you look at the other contracts these other guys signed, they have them because they want to force decisions. So they really could theoretically wait as long as they want. Now, I said this to Tausch yesterday. I talked to somebody who works in the building who, down deep inside, they still hold out hope because they know that when he's healthy, this guy is still a really good football player. To which I replied, when he's healthy. And that's the bottom line with him. And I also think he doesn't make sense for them anymore because of the physicality that they require of their corners. The whole crack and replace and rally to the ball and everything else requires you to be a willing tackler. And up until his shoulder injury in 21, Jaire was very much that, and I don't think he's been that ever since. So go ahead, Chewy.
Is there any spite involved, do you think? Any spite from the standpoint of like, hey, let's not let this guy be a part of the off-season program of wherever team he's going and get a jump on learning the system. He screwed us. Let's screw him and hold on to him for as long as we can.
I think there's probably ill will on both sides, even though Goody claims there isn't. They obviously were frustrated that he couldn't play. He was obviously frustrated that he didn't feel like they supported him publicly. So there's that. I thought the point that Rob made that was really interesting to me was that they're continuing to try to find a trade partner. And as Jen just said, that without the deadline, they can drag this out. I just feel like, and you guys remember when we had this conversation with the 3 NFL executives that I texted with, and everybody knows who my guys are, so let's just not mention that part of it. But they all were all over the map. One said, I'd ask for a 3, and I'd hope for a 4 or a 5. Another one said, I don't even think they'd get a 6. And then a third one said, they're going to just end up releasing him. So, I think this eventually will end in him being released unless there is a team. And this is my favorite type of trade they do nowadays, because I still get so mad when people say, well, they got a 3rd rounder for Rasul Douglas. No, they sent Rasul Douglas and a 5th rounder to Buffalo and got a 3rd rounder back. So what they really got was a move about 60 spots up in the draft for Rasul Douglas. That would be the only kind of trade that I think is most likely.
Jason, great stuff this morning. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, everybody, take care. Be good.
Listen to Jason Wilde on Wilde and Tausch right after Jen, Gabe, and Chewy each and every day here on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. Really interesting stuff there. A lot of layers to some situations that we will continue paying attention to. I do like Greg weighing in on the Carbless Talkin' text line. Elijah Moore is 24, and why not sign him? I get he's not a 1, but he's young and he has upside. So obviously wide receiver is another position that Packers fans are still clamoring for, hoping for, salivating for. Will they address it in the draft? We'll talk about that right after this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Eastbound 94 is still a heavy ride out of the Zoo Interchange all the way to Holly Road. There's a broken down vehicle there off on the right shoulder, causing a bit of a distraction. So watch out for that. Once you get past that, you are okay until you get to the Stadium Interchange. Coming out right around 35th Street might be a little bit tight. Northbound 43 slowing down right around the North Avenue curve up past Burleigh. Southbound a quick tap of the brakes south of Fond du Lac Avenue. Traffic is brought to you by Adams, the #1 rated Generac dealer in Wisconsin. Severe weather has arrived. Don't be left with no power. For power peace of mind for your home or business, visit adamspower.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, mostly cloudy and mild, a high in the 40s to the north, 53 in Milwaukee, 60s to the south. And then tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 40. Weather's brought to you by National Liquor Mart at 16th and National in Milwaukee. Packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spirit deals in town. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Tourney time is here, and Burnsy's Bar and Grill on 97th and Greenfield is the place to be. 29 TVs to catch all the games, ice cold drinks, and unbeatable specials. Watch hoops and get $5 call mixers, $6 doubles, $4 shots, and $3 beer specials. Get your grub on while enjoying all of Burnsy's appetizers, each under $10. Dozens of TVs, tons of drink specials, and apps for everyone. It's Burnsy's Bar and Grill on 97th and Greenfield. Don't miss a minute of the action.
The wait is over. Brewers baseball is back. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Be here for opening day. Come back for the big games and the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's opening day and every game, all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Are you ready to shake things up at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee? All you gotta do is toss your rewards card into your favorite slots for drawing entries and a chance to be in the Roll for Riches game show. What's on the table? Oh, just $300K in cash and prizes. Play this March, and Thursday nights, you could get on a winning streak that, frankly, you deserve. Let it ride and roll for riches. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Kyle Walsh for Universal Windows Direct. Tax season is here, and what better way to reinvest in your home than with brand new energy-efficient windows? During Universal Windows Direct tax time sale, you can save big now. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and there's no limit. Need 4? You only pay for 2. And here's something that will make your wallet even happier. Pay no interest until 2030. Schedule your free in-home estimate or visit universalwindowsdirect.com, and like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
You can just save yourself so much time by going, okay, we like this guy, this guy, this guy. Let's take a look at all the different things he did at the combine. I just hit my phone, and now my hand is just tingling.
What is with you two today? Jesus. Do you know how to function?
I just
On 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, little lady, I know you're feeling crazy. All your other friends are busy making them babies. Been out in the real world, don't like how it's.
Keep getting us your bad neighbor tales. Chewy's having a little conflict with his neighbor in Florida. Do you like your neighbors? Do most people get along with their neighbors? We're going to put that on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll this morning. Do you like your neighbors? I got a story here from Dave and Aaron. First week after moving in, neighbor called the cops because I have a pit bull. Ended up having to register the dog, switch my insurance to a dog-friendly insurance company. It was a real pain. A couple years later, a large tree fell in their driveway, asked if I could cut it up, help him cut it up with the chainsaw. That was a hard no. That is extreme. I mean, maybe not. Maybe if you are scared of dogs, you feel like it was just, normal measures. But
mind your business.
That's where you come down on that one?
No. I called the cops on my neighbor with their dog.
Yeah?
I told them, keep your dog up. Now, Angie was attacked by a dog, had to go through the rabies shot and all that. So she is deathly afraid of dogs. Warned them 2 or 3 times, didn't listen. That's fair, Josh.
Yeah, totally. You're not going to find a less sympathetic person to irresponsible dog ownership than me. If your dog's off leash, running into the road, it makes my life worse. It makes everyone's worse. But if it's simply you're being nosy and going, I bet that dog isn't licensed, get a grip. But coming into your property and being unleashed, that's totally fair. Totally within your rights.
Now, Brandon weighs in the 920 on the Carbless Talkin' text line, 800-990-3776. Less is more. I met my neighbor after I heard him listening to 94.5 in the morning on his porch. We became fast friends, text back and forth about the show every day now. Now, that's the kind of neighbor story we like.
Yes.
I appreciate
What a nice story.
I appreciate him sending that over. Chewy, if your neighbor were listening to your show, what would you do? Let's say you walk out and he's got it on the stream and you hear your voice coming from the other side of the fence.
Would I filter what I say because of that?
You mean about
Probably
him,
not.
probably?
I still don't think I would. Because I know some neighbors listen, and I really don't care.
You're gonna start making them sign a waiver. Like this conversation could very well end up on the radio. Gonna need you to sign this, saying that you will not sue me for defamation of character. I promise everything will be mostly true when I talk about it. Let's talk about the Green Bay Packers wide receiver situation very quickly here, because the thing I hear all the time, especially around draft time, is the name Javon Walker. Chew, why do we hear the name Javon Walker every year about this time?
I believe that was the last receiver they took in the first round.
That's correct. 2002 was the draft. So, of course, there are people now who are wondering if the Packers might break that streak and go ahead and get a wide receiver. I think not. I don't think they will. Joshy, do you come down on one side of the fence there? I don't think the Packers will break the streak of not having drafted a wide receiver in the first round since 2002 this season.
No, I mean, the odds are no. I think it's a better chance than we've seen recently. I do think in the first 2 days, there certainly will be most likely a wide receiver taken off the board for the Packers. But first round is hard for me to imagine. Brian Gutekunst has given us signals, many, many, many signals that they value the cornerback position, the offensive line and defensive line / edge more than they value really any other position excluding quarterback. So until I'm given material change, we do have the Quay Walker sort of mirage that happened in there, which was sort of surprising. But until they draft one, I'm not going to, with any confidence, project the Packers to draft a wide receiver. And then especially in this draft, it's not necessarily a deep wide receiver draft.
So where don't they need to draft early? Obviously quarterback.
Offensive line, I would say.
They're fine.
Well, early is the distinction there because Brian Gutekunst has even said, though, that if there is a quarterback that they like, not in the first round, let me just be clear, right, but he has not eliminated that as a possibility as well, even though they've got Malik Willis locked up. So just for what it's worth.
Do you believe him? I don't believe. The only reason I see him doing that is for potential trade down the line. But
I could see a situation where they have a late first round grade on a quarterback, and he falls to the late second or third, and they go, well, at this point, we're kind of giving ourselves more and more options. But Malik Willis, I think they feel really good about at this point. I don't see much scenario where that happens.
So it's either going to be obvious because they don't need linebacker depth.
No, really. You wouldn't imagine.
They're fine. So it's going to be cornerback, it's going to be D-line, or it's going to be a receiver. That's the only place to go.
I do think people might be surprised with where if and when the Packers end up drafting a running back. This is known to be an extremely deep class. They're talking like 12 to 15 possible starters or like serious contributors. So I wouldn't be shocked because the Josh Jacobs time is not coming to an end closer than you would imagine, as good as he was. Like, they're going to have no problem moving on from him. And right now, we've not seen anything out of Marshawn Lloyd. So it's like, I wouldn't be shocked if they have one in the third round that ends up going off the board.
Also have a weigh-in here on the Carbless Talk and text line from Greg in the 608. Elijah, sorry, that is the wrong one. Let me click back up. When it comes to the receiver situation, I don't think Dobbs' concussion issues are being talked about enough. That from Steve in the 920. I agree. I don't think we have enough information. I don't think we are realistic enough about how that may affect him going forward. And if he will be one of these guys who just cannot be out there on the field for long stretches of the season. Concussions don't get better, Chew. They don't get, you don't get fewer of them. Yeah. If you're prone to concussions, that is something that can plague you for the rest of your career.
So he got a concussion that caused him to miss multiple games.
Yeah.
And then I believe it was at the end of the season, he suffered another one. It's hard. It's hard to know because we haven't gotten much information. I believe Goody was asked and said they think he's fine and he recovered. But as Jen said, sometimes things like that happen and people end up in spots where they can't shake that bug and it becomes a real issue.
Well, I can tell you this: I've had 7 documented, which really doesn't mean much, because that's in the 90s and. The farther I went along with concussions, the less violent the hit I took. And even one of them was like, holy cow, I can't believe I was concussed over that, So it does. It gets easier and easier to get them. So that is a huge concern. I can't believe they didn't backfill that position through free agency. And he's going to take one in the first 3 rounds, but, he said it himself. This team, I don't want to say doesn't have time to go through growing pains, but I think we all believe that the window is open. And my question to Goody, and I should have asked Jason, is how long is the growing period? Is it 1 year? Is it 2? Because to me, it just seems convenient for Goody to say, oh, growing pains, growing pains. Oh, Lucas Van Ness still has growing pains going into his third year. He's kind of talking about out of both sides of his mouth.
Well, and that's why I said to you, I would prefer that that transition period was only on one side of the ball, but now it's on both sides of the ball because you've got it on the defensive line, like you mentioned, Lucas Van Ness, and you've got it with the wide receivers where they like, this is from Goody, they like the guys they have, as evidenced by them not going out and backfilling or bolstering in free agency. They like the guys they have. The problem is, we're not sure if those guys they have can develop any further. They may be who they are. We may have seen the best of these guys. We may have seen the ceiling. And that's where you go, Goody, you got to be able to admit that maybe this is it. And it's not good enough, and you need to go out and get reinforcements elsewhere. I got a list here of wide receivers in the upcoming NFL draft. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to have Joshy run through them and give him names. And he's going to tell me, I got 10 receivers here, which of these guys would be the best fit for the Green Bay Packers to draft. Because we assume they're going to have to address that position in the draft coming up in, about 40-plus days. That's next.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Since we're talking about marriage, let's if you're thinking about making that next step in your life, of course, the only place to go for that diamond engagement ring, it is the Jewelry Center. It's where I went to get the ring for my wife, and I kind of had an idea of what she was looking for, but maybe you don't. Well, look at her Pinterest page. Bring those in. The helpful team at the Jewelry Center always going to be able to point you in the right direction, whether you're looking for a naturally mined diamond, a lab-grown diamond, whatever you're in the market for when it comes to engagement ring, the Jewelry Center has it, and they do so many other services too. My mom happened to go to the Greenfield location, needed her wedding ring resized. They're taking care of that for her. And the helpful team always going to take care of you at the Jewelry Center. Stop in Greenfield, Brookfield, or in Burlington. Shop online at shoptjc.com. And when you go to the Jewelry Center, make sure you tell them Gabe and Chew sent you.
Hey, this is Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. One of the best decisions I've made was getting an infrared sauna from Good Health Saunas. Based right in Appleton and Waukesha, they're locally owned for 2 decades. Good Health Saunas are easy to install, cost as little as 25 cents a day, and even include a true lifetime warranty. Learn about Good Health Saunas options at goodhealthsaunas.com/Jen. And you can get $500 to $800 off your purchase. Or see them for yourself March 21st through 30th at the Realtors Home and Garden Show at State Fair Park. Remember, that's goodhealthsaunas.com/Jen.
So many of our youth carry unimaginable burdens. Anger, depression, even thoughts of suicide. At Rawhide Youth Services, we recognize their pain. We help them find hope and healing. For those that need a second chance at life, we refuse to give up on them. Please be a part of our life-saving work. When you donate your used vehicle to Rawhide, you're helping change the lives of countless youth in our communities. Go to rawhide.org/donate and help them realize a brighter future today.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman, and you may be wondering if you are a good candidate for QC Kinetics. If you're having pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulders, or your back, maybe having trouble sleeping or doing the things that you love doing, then yes, you could be a great candidate for QC Kinetics and the regenerative medicine. I know when I went to QC Kinetics and saw everything they have with my own 2 eyes, I was blown away at the tools in their toolkit to make sure that you get your life back. PRP, platelets, plasma, and they have so much they can do to give you your life back. From all the testimonials I've heard and from what I've seen with my own 2 eyes, it is unbelievable to see the before and after impact of QC Kinetics and their regenerative medicine. So don't wait any longer. Finally, get your life back as spring is unfolding. Get your free consultation today with QC Kinetics at 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
She's different and special and loaded with personality.
And there's one more thing, but you can't explain it in words. She's the one.
She's the one.
The one. You know it.
Your friends know it.
The whole world knows it.
We curated a special selection of engagement rings for her.
Can you guess what we call it?
We call it the One Collection by Kessler's.
Because these engagement rings are different.
And special.
And loaded with personality.
And one more thing. but you can't explain it in words.
Engagement rings in the One collection start at just $725.
But some of them are more.
A lot more.
But we've got you covered.
First, we have 12 months financing at 0%. Or,
second, we have 36 months financing at 9.99%, both with approved credit.
Third, we have second chance financing if you need someone to give you a second chance.
and don't forget the Kessler's warranty.
The strongest warranty of any jewelry store in the world.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Buy now, save now at Menards. You need reliable and energy-efficient appliances to conquer the day. Menards is your one-stop shop with the largest in-stock appliance selection ready to take home today. Check out our top appliance brands including KitchenAid, Whirlpool, Maytag, Amana, and Criterion. Save big money on Whirlpool appliances at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Come on, guys. Let's think about this. Could you do 50 straight days of burgers?
That was very condescending. I just
No,
want to be
no,
clear
that's
on
not.
the
That's
tone.
Let's put our heads together.
Again, I have children. I know condescending when I hear it.
I can be.
Ashton.
Come on,
On 94.5 ESPN.
We are on record here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy as saying we do not think the Packers will change course, change spots, and draft a wide receiver in the first round, even though I'm not sure I remember a time where the unit has felt more in need of a high-impact number one wide receiver. But here is the list. There is a list, obviously, of guys who might be available for the Green Bay Packers. And as Josh DiMaggio is our draft nerd, draft geek here on the program, we're going to present it to him, and he's going to tell us who he thinks. Now, this list that I grabbed, Joshy, is from Packers Wire. I actually really like it because it is specifically talking about man beaters. Talks a lot about how the Packers wide receivers struggled against man this last year, and now with Christian Watson out, how that will be something that probably ails them this upcoming season as well. So let me give you this list. You tell me very quickly on each of these guys if you like them for the Packers or if it's unrealistic because they'll probably go before the Packers pick, all of those types of things. We begin with Trey Harris, Ole Miss.
Trey Harris will be available, probably taken in the second round or later. He does fit what the Packers need. Obviously, they are on this list because of their ability to beat man. He also fits within the typical size and weight. And he does play the boundary, so he would make sense. He is known
He's not very fast, though, Joshy. I've got him at a 4.54, which is not a burner. Aren't they looking for a burner or no?
I think they're looking for a vertical threat more so than obviously, you want a guy to be fast and big. That's kind of the whole thing. But I would say he does fit enough of somebody who can at least threaten you vertically.
Well, and again, this list in particular is about who can beat man coverage.
Yes.
So they're saying he is good at beating man coverage because of his athleticism, size, and production, etc. Then you got the McMillan kid from Arizona who had his pro day yesterday, I believe. Saw some interesting numbers from the stopwatch, Joshy.
Yeah, not a burner either. He did run his pro day, which was much faster than his time at the combine. He would make sense for the Packers. I don't think he'll be there. He has a good chance to be the first overall wide receiver taken in this draft.
If you consider Hunter a corner?
Correct, yeah. However they end up doing it. So, yeah, the one true wide receiver, he seems he's the perfect blend of, like, absolute size and boundary wide receiver. He's just, he's slower than you would hope.
Luther Burden.
Big guy.
Yeah, big
huge,
guy.
Huge.
And that's why they were saying that his time was really good for a athlete of his size.
Yes.
Sure.
At the pro day. Luther Burden out of Missouri, another name I see some people want for the Green Bay Packers.
Primarily a slot receiver, ran like 80+% of his routes out of the slot. He's more of a manufactured touch guy, but an absolute he's good enough, I think, that if you drafted him, you'd say, good luck, beat him out type deal with Jane Reed, which I don't see the Packers doing. But he is not the boundary guy that is the need for the Packers.
Jaden Higgins, Iowa State, another name I see a lot of people kind of, excited about, hoping for.
He's built in a lab to be exactly what the Packers need. Very big size, fits all the thresholds. Also a bit of a burner himself, much faster. Probably a little bit more of a project. I think he'll be available at 23. He, to me, will not be available at the second round for them.
Yeah, I got him 10th on the board on what I'm looking at. Why is he 10? Because I like his size. His speed 4.47 is good.
Yeah, it's a lot to do with he went to Iowa State, doesn't have a great production profile.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of sort of trying to figure out how he's going to fit into the NFL, more so than But yeah, in terms of raw prospect of side speeds, athleticism, he would be the number one guy.
Now, this list, the rest of these guys are not necessarily the man beaters that we talked about earlier, but Matthew Golden. Do you like Matthew Golden out of Texas? That's another name I'm seeing that people would think would be a good fit for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, some people have him as the best wide receiver in the draft.
Yeah.
I think he would be a fit there. He is, deep threat is his thing, so that would make sense there. I don't believe he'll be there at the Packers pick at 23. I think he probably goes ahead of that.
Is he worthy with Kansas City? Just a burn. 4.29. That's flying.
Yes, but he's more developed in terms of a route runner. He's not just primarily. But he's a little small for the Packers. He's a 5'11", which is probably under their threshold. But if they do tend to break it if they really believe in a guy. But I would say you could make a case for it being a fit, but he's not. He's only 5'11".
And then what about Emeka Egbuka?
Emeka was the very next guy I had on the list.
Also,
I just wanted to say the name, Jen.
Also a slot receiver predominantly in college. But a different skill set than Luther Burden or Jaden Reed, where I think he's more of a vertical threat slot. His pro day is coming up here on the 26th, 27th, 28th for Ohio State. I think he has a chance to be one of the top 3 or 4 wide receivers drafted. And he might even be the first, depending on how fast he runs.
The book on him also is that he's a great route runner.
Yes.
Which you guys have talked about is something the Packers could really benefit from.
I think he makes sense. I think he's more than just a slot receiver, despite playing there predominantly. But he is he's not where I said Cooper Kupp was redundant to Jaden Reed. He's a different type of threat from the slot than Jaden Reed would be.
And again,
he can fly.
These picks are all for that first pick or for the second as well. Some of these guys would be available at that second pick, right?
Yeah, some of them are. It's hard to figure out right now because the wide receiver class is pretty weak in comparison to previous years, but Trey Harris is probably not a first or second round pick. He might be in the second, but so some of these guys get forced up when it's a weak class and you need a wide receiver.
Yeah.
GMs convince themselves somebody is worth more than they probably should.
Right, but Packers historically do the best player available. Yep. They don't draft for need, et cetera, even though we all pull our hair out every time they skip over a position that they obviously need.
Yes.
All right, good stuff, Joshy. Man, I love it when Joshy digs into his draft book.
There's one more name that I think is worth mentioning here. It's Alec Manor.
What?
Manor.
I'm sorry, huh?
He's a kid from Stanford. He fits size and speed. He ran a 4.44. He is 6'2". I think that's a pick that I wouldn't be surprised by on the second day a team making because he is this blend of size and speed. He seems to fit there. And then there's also Savion Williams from TCU, which is a big guy. I haven't seen the numbers on him running, but from what he did in college, he would make sense as sort of the type of guy that the Packers would see as an option in that pseudo replacement of Christian Watson.
And Elic is E-L-I-C.
Yes.
You know how many times I had to Google that to try to find the correct spelling of the name? Ayo Manor. A-Y-O-M-A-N-O-R. All right, we got to take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Begin the second hour of the show right after this. Stick around.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
O'Keefe. Southbound slowing down from before Hampton down past Burleigh. Northbound 4394 is backing up out of the Mitchell interchange around the Plainfield curve up past Oklahoma Avenue. Eastbound 894, we got some backups because of a broken down vehicle that's stuck in the right lane at 27th Street. So delays coming out of the hail with that one. Eastbound 94 is heavy from 84th Street through to 35th. Westbound from 30th Street all the way through to about Mitchell Boulevard. When business brings you to Milwaukee, make the Knickerbocker on the Lake your home base. Enjoy modern meeting rooms, lakefront views, and refined dining. Visit knickerbockerontheLake.com to book today. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, mostly cloudy skies, mild with a high of the 40s to the north, 53 in Milwaukee, 60s to the south. Then tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 40. Weather's brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
This is Kevin Moret from Mentality. Every day is a silent competition, and with testosterone dropping 1% annually, you're fighting an uphill battle. Your colleagues notice when you lose your edge, your partner senses when your confidence wavers, and without addressing low T, you're set up to fail. No willpower can overcome this hormonal deficit. Mentality's FDA-approved treatments have shown a 30% increase in testosterone levels. Don't let low T define you. Reclaim your power at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. Well, if you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Service. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune in to Kyle Bruston Nortman from 2 to 5 every day. WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
At one point, I finally said, "Free, can you finish this after you put on some shorts?"
She ate breakfast naked? She didn't even want a nap? I've had bedroom naked. I've had walk to the bathroom naked. I have never had living room naked. Oh, it's a scene. It's like you're living in the Playboy Mansion.
So, nakedivity, or whatever the word is different to us.
So she coughed.
Coughing? Naked? It's a turnoff, man.
Everything goes with naked.
When you cough, there are thousands of unseen muscles that suddenly spring into action. It's like watching that fat guy catch a cannonball in his stomach in slow motion.
Nakedness?
Jason,
are you looking for nakedness?
I guess.
I kind of like nakedivity better.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamora. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight, he ain't doing nothing but running his mouth.
Chewy said something yesterday on the program. Remember, you can always stream the show on the YouTube channel, ESPN Milwaukee, and you can listen back on any podcast forum, Apple, Spotify, etc. So Chewy said something yesterday on the program that got a lot of reaction on social media. Chewy, yesterday we were talking about Brian Gutekunst, and you were wondering, with Ed Policy taking over this summer, if he will have a short leash for Brian Gutekunst, if he will go to Brian Gutekunst and say, you have 3 years. Not that he's on the hot seat, but that he is maybe turning the burner on a little bit. Right? Mm-hmm. We're on a simmer, if you will. It's set to low. But the Brian Gutekunst needs to essentially bring a championship to Green Bay within the next 3 years. And people reacted to that, Chew. Some people thought that you were an idiot.
That's fine. I am.
Some people thought that you were brilliant and you were dead on, and that, yes, Brian Gutekunst needs to be held to a higher standard when it comes to collecting talent and putting a championship team on the field. So tell us today, for those who weren't listening yesterday, why you feel that would be realistic and fair.
Because he's going into his 8th year as GM. Correct, Joshy?
Yes.
Now, I don't blame him really so much for the end of the Rodgers years, because from a roster standpoint, I believe they were in place to win a Super Bowl. You know, they made it to the NFC Championship game one time later on in the career against Tampa Bay, where they were favored. The game was at home. I know that was a COVID year, but looking back, I believe they were number one in the power rankings, which I love and I follow. And then you go to the San Francisco year where they lost in the divisional round, where they were, I remember that like it was yesterday, because we went through the power rankings the week before, and it was the Packers, then Gap. Well, they lost that game. But I don't really blame Goody so much for that, but we've been spinning wheels here for the last handful of years. And we all have goals, right? This station has goals. This show has goals. Us as individual have goals. My wife has goals with her job. Why can't there be a goal for Goody? You know, sales. Look at sales. You look at sales for this station every year, and they're very aggressive in what their goals are. And a lot of times they reach them, sometimes they don't. But what's wrong with putting a timeline on this thing? Saying you got 3 years. You know, look how Philly's turned it around. Look at how a lot of teams have turned it around. It's just, I don't see anything wrong with it. You know, I don't see anything. Every other job does the same thing. You don't reach your goals, all right, well, you're on the clock.
What has Brian Gutekunst done well? And this question is not meant to make it seem like he has done nothing well. But it'd be like anything else. If you are at a crossroads in your relationship, you make that pros and cons list, whether you do it physically or you do it mentally, right? You do it in your head. You're keeping tabs. What goes on the pros of Brian Gutekunst? I would argue navigating the Aaron Rodgers situation, right? Like maybe you could say that it went on a little too long, or maybe you could say that, you know, they gave him that big contract when they shouldn't have. I don't know if anybody's going to say that, but like you could play both sides of it if you want to. But what are some things, Chew, over the course of his tenure as general manager of the Green Bay Packers that you think he has done well?
I think one of the best things he did was getting rid of Rodgers when he did. Obviously, you turn to, did he draft Jordan, or it was Ted, right?
No.
It's good.
Goody drafted him? That looks good right now. It doesn't look great. We hope it turns into great, but you can't say great right now. That looks good. I think that is a definite positive. You know, getting rid of all the Rodgers disciples, I think, was good. Obviously, last year's free agent signings with Jacobs and McKinney were great. This year, I'm not calling them great. And I think grades that I was just looking at would agree with me. But he's done a good job. But you can't just do good. You know where you can do good? When you're with the Raiders, when you're with the Seahawks, okay? Packers, Cowboys, Giants, they're all held to a different standard, right? And our standard is measured by championships, not making the playoffs, getting exited in the first round, or getting the divisional round and losing. That's how I measure it.
Well, the Giants haven't been good since what? Eli
No,
Manning?
but that's a proud.
Sure, I know what you're saying. You're saying that there are higher standards for some of these franchises, and we like that Green Bay is one of those teams that has higher standards. One of the things that I would say is a negative about Brian Gutekunst, and again, this hasn't played out completely yet, but the way it's trending is it seems like he and his scouts and his, personnel department, they value versatility. They want guys who can play multiple positions, whether that's on the offensive line. They want guys who can be, every down players, on defense and things like that. And it feels like sometimes that versatility overshadows just being really bleeping dominant at your thing. And there's a part of me, again, this goes back to the conversation we have had about superstars. This goes back to the conversation about you need to have guys who are just exceptional at what they do. And unfortunately right now, Chew, that list is short on the Green Bay Packers roster. That list is short. Who is exceptional at their role? I don't know if you're feeling two hands. I don't think you are. And there's that gives me pause. And then this commitment to the plan, the draft and develop. I saw something in these guys, diamond in the rough. No one else saw it. I'm smarter than the guy across the board who's also making picks. Sometimes, especially in this day and age of all of the information and all of the data that is out there, sometimes people on the internet are also going to nail draft picks because they can see with their eyeballs who's good at what they do. You don't always have to overthink it. You don't always have to, surprise! Well, nobody was paying attention to this guy. Nobody thought this guy, was somebody who could play at the NFL level. But I see something in him. That commitment to the plan, while it can be a good thing, Chew, I'm concerned that an inability to pivot off of it will be the demise of the franchise.
I agree. And there's things and I said it, I believe this morning, that I don't agree. I don't agree with this whole youth thing. I just don't agree with it. You don't get any trophies for being the youngest team in the league. He doesn't use all the tools he has available to him. Where I go to Ron is my guy. Ron used free agency. He used the ability to trade, and he used the draft, right? And he melded the three together to get us to a championship, to 2 Super Bowls in year 4 and year 5. I just don't think he does that. And I don't, I've known GMs that hold on to draft picks and their guys too long because they're their guys, And I think I don't know if there's a little bit of that in Goody, in the lack of, going after free agency and adding to the receiver pool and defensive lineman pool. There comes a time where you just got to cut bait. And I don't know if he's able to do that. I just, philosophically, he's a good GM. He's a good GM. He's not a great GM. I don't know if he'll ever be a great GM because of what you just said, Jen. Sometimes when you have a plan, you got to pivot, right? And you got to pivot quickly. And if you don't, then it's going to affect the team because we all talk about windows on this show and how they open and close. Timing is important, and I don't know if he's got it.
800-990-3776. Do you agree with Chewy that Brian Gutekunst should have a 3-year leash? If after these 3 years, the Packers have not been to a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, it's time to move on to a new general manager. And my concern also, Chew, is that everyone else around the Packers, I'm speaking mostly about the NFC, seems to be making big moves, seems to be committed to getting better, seems to be, we are going to bolster this roster. We are close. This piece could get us over the top. And we haven't seen that yet from the Green Bay Packers this offseason. I'm not ready to say the sky is falling. I'm not ready to panic.
No, I'm not.
But I am looking around. And again, some of this is, guys, all of the information. I got to tell you, 10 years ago, I have no flipping clue what the Eagles have done in free agency. Just not paying attention to it. But in this day and age, when everything is front and center and it's being fed to us on social and we're seeing it on the shows, all of a sudden you become so much more acutely aware of what your competitors are doing. And that's when you start to go, well, why aren't we doing some of those things?
My point to the people that call me idiots, why? We put timelines on players, right? If Rashawn Gary has another 5-sack season next year, you're gone. You're gone. Lucas Van Ness, you have a half a sack next year, you're gone. Why don't we do it with coaches and GMs? Maybe these people are fine with 11-6 and winning a playoff game and then losing the second. Maybe they're fine with it. I'm not. And I think there's a lot of people in my camp saying, "No, this ain't good enough. Sorry. It ain't. It's close, but it ain't good enough."
800-990-3776. We will put it on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll as well. Do you agree with Chewy that there should be a... What are we saying? Timeline? A deadline? I like deadline. Deadline? Something like that. We'll work on the words of the tweet right after this. We got power rankings with Chew coming right up on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Eastbound 94 seeing delays from 84th Street all the way through the Stadium interchange. Westbound slowing down from 27th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. Southbound 43, a little heavy from Hampton down past Capitol Drive to Burleigh. Northbound is backing up from before Fond du Lac Avenue up to Keith. And we're still seeing delays northbound 4394 right around the Plainfield curve up to Oklahoma Avenue. Traffic is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, mostly cloudy and mild. A high of 40s to the north, 53 in Milwaukee, 60s to the south. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 40. Weather's brought to you by Higher Love Cannabis Company. No matter the forecast, they have something to lift your spirit. Less than an hour from Green Bay, visit us in Ironwood and Menominee or online at findhigherlove.com/CBD. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
X-Golf, 2 locations in Milwaukee, Brookfield and Mequon. Check them out online, xgolfbrookfield.com, xgolfmequon.com. I was just hanging out with the X-Golf guys playing a little golf in Vegas. So my season has started. And I know the warm weather here is making you think, ooh, season's going to be starting soon. Make sure you're ready by visiting X-Golf and taking on the state-of-the-art simulators that they have. Make sure your game is as sharp as it could be. Or maybe you get a lesson from my guy Mike Meisen, X-Golf in Brookfield. Make sure your swing is dialed that way by the time you're playing outside, you are ready to go. What's also great, though, about X-Golf, Brookfield, Mequon, great food, drink menus as well. They've got great specials going on most Fridays as well. Check them out online. Book your tee time, xgolfbrookfield.com, xgolfmequon.com.
Let's talk about home turf. Your lawn is a reflection of your pride, hard work, and even competitive spirit. If you want a yard that makes the neighbors stop and stare, you need the right plan. That's where Weedman Lawn Care comes in. Weedman's lawn care program is kid and pet friendly, uses golf course quality fertilizer, and has an effective weed treatment to dominate any issue. Get a free quote of Weedman's winning formula for your yard at weedman.com and get 50% off your first treatment. That's weedman.com. Weedman for the win.
No shortcuts, no compromises, just the job done right. At Exterior Pros, we don't just meet expectations, we crush them. Every nail, every window, every shingle is a step toward your home's next chapter. From the moment we start until that final reveal, we're committed to making your home better than ever. Quality products and craftsmanship you can count on. Go to the pros for your next project. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274.
So many of our youth carry unimaginable burdens. Anger, depression, even thoughts of suicide. At Rawhide Youth Services, we recognize their pain. We help them find hope and healing. For those that need a second chance at life, we refuse to give up on them. Please be a part of our life-saving work. When you donate your used vehicle to Rawhide, you're helping change the lives of countless youth in our communities. Go to rawhide.org/donate and help them realize a brighter future today.
Drum roll, please.
Carbliss is here with refreshing new flavors. Introducing their Tropical Bliss Variety Pack. Let the summertime flavors of blood orange, watermelon, raspberry, and grapefruit whisk you away from the winter blues. New flavors, same great Carbliss perks. Every handcrafted cocktail still has 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and just 100 calories. Find the Tropical Bliss Variety Pack in store wherever Carbliss is sold and enjoy your winter passport to paradise. Grab a pack today and discover why less is more with Carbliss.
Kevin Morat, Mentality founder here with a wake-up call. You're running on fumes, gentlemen. Just 1/3 of the free testosterone you need. That's why you're drained, defeated, and disgusted with your progress. But here's the truth. Mentality doctors specialize in epic comebacks. Our clients show an increase of 30% testosterone levels within the first month. We don't just treat men, we reignite lives. Just imagine the focus, energy, and drive being restored. Your comeback starts now. Don't wait. Make this your best year yet. Start today at mentalityhealth.com/radio.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
So you mentioned Super Bowls and parties and how they don't go hand in hand, which again is an absurd comment by you two, but it's just one of many on the show.
Dumber thing that Chewy has said this morning. Super Bowls and parties don't go hand in hand, or cheddar is not a top 10 cheese.
On 94.5 ESPN.
So Joshy informs us that yesterday was the anniversary of Devonte Adams being traded. Is that right, Joshy?
That is true. It is the 3-year anniversary yesterday of one of the bigger breaking news things to happen in the Packers world in recent memory.
Well, besides the Rodgers stuff, right?
Yeah. But that felt like that. We all knew that was coming for what felt like a year.
Yeah, very good point. So in light of that, Chew, I believe that has inspired your power rankings today?
It has. All the talk of receivers. The list is going to be my top 10 Packer receivers of all time.
Play the music.
It's Chewy's favorite segment of the week.
Hey, big guy, you catch the game?
It's Power Rankings time on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
You catch the game last night? Can I say yes to you?
What will the big guy have in store for us today?
See the game last night?
Which game?
Any of them.
Okay, now this list only goes back to the 80s. I know Dodd Hudson, probably one of the greatest Packers to ever played, but I haven't seen any film. So I just took it back to the 80s where there's plenty of players to choose from. Josh, how are we going to do this?
Just guess them.
Yeah, we'll
If
just
they're on the list, they're on the list.
We need to
Fair,
get 8,
fair.
let's say. 7.5 is our over-under.
All right.
Okay. All right. Start it off.
Well, Devonte's got to be on the list.
Devonte is number 2.
Ooh.
I'm going to go Sterling.
Sterling is number 1. Got to put him number 1 going in the Hall of Fame.
Sure. Even though that story that you told us is wild about Sterling.
We're not talking about the person. We're talking about the athlete.
All right, production. Strictly production. Jordy Nelson's got to be on this list.
Jordy is 4.
I'm going to go Freeman.
Free is 3.
So do we have
1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah.
Now, I looked at this. I looked at longevity. I looked at yards. I looked at catches. One of the most important stats for me is yards per catch. So I took all this information in because I'm sure a lot of people saying, oh, Free, how the hell can Free be 3? Well, Free had a 15.4 average per catch, which is high. Very high.
Okay.
Keep it going.
I assume if that's your standard, that Greg Jennings is on this list as well.
Greg Jennings is 6.
Is 5 Donald Driver?
5 is Donald Driver.
So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Correct.
Do we have any of the other 4?
No, we got them all pretty much in order.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Randall Cobb on this list?
Randall Cobb is 7. So the fact that you're grabbing these where you're grabbing them would make me believe that you agree with where I'm putting them. Fair?
For the most part.
Yeah. I mean, I could have little quibbles about who's above who, but I think for the most part we're all in the same line.
Okay.
I've got a couple names here that I'm trying to figure out. I know you're a Robert Brooks guy.
I was going to say Robert Brooks as well.
I think he has to make your top 10.
Robert Brooks is 8.
Wow, we are crushing
Just
this list.
boom,
8.
boom, boom.
You got 9 and 10.
Is he going to put a Lofton on the list?
Is that a guess?
Yeah, may as well. We got him to.
James Lofton is 9.
So what do we have? What are we missing? 8 and 10?
You got 10.
We just 10.
Just 10.
Wow.
It's not going to be like a Robert Ferguson, is it?
No. This guy was sneaky good. I think.
James Jones?
Are you going to say Billy Schrader?
James Jones is 10.
Wow. Respect for James
All
Jones.
right. What do you like about James Jones' game?
His stats.
Yeah, sure. But we were talking earlier about how there's a lot of different ways to parse the wide receiver position.
There is. James Jones, not fast, right? Big, certainly not fast, but he just made plays.
Yeah.
James Jones was just a football player. You know?
That, just so you know, just a football player is literally not stats. Like,
just a ball,
Fair.
just a dog.
Fair.
Sort of like the eye test, right? Like,
All right, let's break it down in 3s, though. Sterling, Devonte, Free. Do you agree with that?
I could get behind those.
Yeah, but Jen, you kind of sounded like you thought Devonte would be 1.
I did, only because you played with Sterling. You've told us stories about how he was kind of a, selfish player.
Yeah. He was a complicated fella.
Sure, and as we know, that's a huge endorsement.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just thought maybe Devonte would be above him.
If I were to guess, people are going to think Free is too high and probably push Driver and Jordy up.
I struggled with Free, Jordy, Donald, and Jennings.
Yeah. Because Jordy had more yards than Free.
But
Jordy
Free's
was
yards
better.
Per catch were...
Jordy's were 14.3,
14.3.
yep. So pretty close, 15.4.
15.4. There might be a little bias there on my part.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I was playing to your bias with this list.
You were. Donald.
Well, Donald is atop the list in receiving yards because he played for so long.
But I had a conversation I was telling you guys about on Thanksgiving when Brett, went into something or whatever. And they had Thanksgiving meal for us, and I was sitting with our core, and not a lot of glowing things I just sat there and listened. Not a lot of glowing things about Donald. The big thing was saying longevity. That's why his numbers were there.
Which, by the way, you deserve credit for.
10,000 yards receiving is
sure.
We always talk about what a bruising and punishing, job you guys have to be able to do it as long as he did at that level.
I'm just pulling back the curtain. And what guys said.
Yeah,
they
I gotcha.
did not have him. They might have had him a little lower on the list, actually.
Very quickly, let's go out to the phone lines. Derek in Lake Geneva waiting patiently on the line. And Chewy, you'll appreciate this. Derek agrees with you on Brian Gutekunst. Good morning, Derek. Derek, you there?
Going once, going twice. Sorry.
Good morning. Good night.
See ya.
Oh, that's too bad. He said he agreed with you, too. Derek, if you want to call back,
he was one of the people who thinks your timeline of 3 years is, and he's calling right back, and I'm not going to answer because we need to go to break. But he agrees, and he thinks the timeline's too short, too long. 3 years is too much.
Oh, that's good information.
Yes, which is a common thing I saw on in the replies to the tweet that was sent out of the video of you put him on the 3-year deadline.
I think 3 is fair. Obviously, if they go 5-12, have 2 horrible years, obviously that changes. But I'm not anticipating that. I'm even going into this year. I tell you what, I'm going to say the exact same thing as last year. They're going 11-6, which is a good year, but it's another 11-6. Depending on how far they go in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying.
800-990-3776. Do you agree with Chewy that Brian Gutekunst should be on a 3-year deadline? If he can't get to the Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl within the next 3 years, the Packers should look elsewhere for the guy running the show. And again, Ed Policy coming in, he may have a different standard. He may want results sooner than Mark Murphy has during his tenure. We'll talk about that and more when we return right here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. It's time to talk about one of the best purchases I have ever made, my Good Health Sauna from Good Health Saunas. Guys, you know how much I care about health and wellness, and the sauna has made such a difference in my life. I know there are people who are like, how much difference can it make? Well, guys, I sleep better when I use my sauna. My skin looks better. The energy, and I need a lot of energy to get through my day and get through all my responsibilities. My energy is awesome when I use my sauna. And guys, the recovery from working out as I get older, it takes me longer to recover from my workouts. I use my sauna. I can get back to life that much faster. Right now, if you go to the website goodhealthsaunas.com/Jen, you can get $500 to $800 off your next purchase of a Good Health sauna, and you can go visit them at the Realtors Home and Garden Show March 21st through the 30th. It's goodhealthsaunas.com/Jen to see all of the different infrared saunas that you can choose from.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Well, we've got a problem on eastbound 94 right about at 68th Street. The right lane is blocked with a broken down vehicle, so that is going to start causing some big problems. Right now, we got delays from 84th Street all the way through the Stadium interchange. Westbound's going to be slowing down from 27th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. And northbound 43, watch for delays from before Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up to Keefe. Escape to the Knickerbocker on the lake. Enjoy stunning lake views, luxurious rooms, and exceptional dining. Experience timeless charm and modern luxury in the heart of Milwaukee. Book your stay at knickerbockeronthelake.com. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, mostly cloudy and mild. A high in the 40s to the north, 53 in Milwaukee, and 60s to the south. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 40. Weather's brought to you by Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Join their two-man scramble tournament and play TPC Sawgrass for the chance to win cash through the 31st. Sign up at wisconsinindorgolfcenter.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, it's Gabe Neitzel from ESPN Milwaukee's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Golf season is going to be here before you know it, so you have to make sure you're ready to go at X Golf in Brookfield or X Golf in Mech 1. Take advantage of the state-of-the-art simulators that they have to make sure your game is in the best shape it possibly can be. Maybe you need a lesson from one of their PGA pros to make sure you're beating your buddies when it's time to play outside. Plus, you can take advantage of the great food and drink specials that they have. Book a tee time today, xgolfbrookfield.com or xgolfmech1.com.
Michelle Smallman here. Are you dreaming of seeing your team draft their next superstar? Travel Wisconsin is sending 10 lucky fans and a guest to the draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Witness unforgettable moments and make memories that will last a lifetime. Don't miss out. Enter Travel Wisconsin's Dream Draft Sweepstakes. Visit travelwisconsin.com/draft to learn how you can win a trip to experience the biggest moment of the offseason. Epic moments that become lifelong memories are waiting to be discovered across Wisconsin. Terms and conditions apply.
Evan Cohen here. Picking a place to build a life is a lot like selecting a draft pick. Make a decision that will set you up for long-term success. Pick Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you'll find dynamic career opportunities, beautiful seasons, affordable living, and legendary weekends. From its high quality of life and great schools to its fine arts, culinary, and pro sports scenes, Wisconsin gives you so much to look forward to. That's why you should pick Wisconsin. Learn more about making Wisconsin your home. Visit pickwisconsin.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text KING to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text KING to 42424. That's KING to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee. You are listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
He hates the ending of all comedies. Apparently doesn't like happy endings.
I love happy endings. Don't take it that far.
Maybe that's a vote for Groundhog Day for you.
On 94.5 ESPN.
As we celebrate a Hughes Day here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, Joshy found a random power rankings list that I think we need to dive into here. Because let's be honest, Tuesdays are not a day that people look forward to. Now, do they look forward to them more than Mondays? Little bit, but not by much. We like to celebrate a Tuesday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, even though Tuesdays have no feel, according to our friends over at Seinfeld. So, Chew, if you were to power rank the days of the week, because you are our power ranking expert,
Yep.
how would it go?
it would go. So worst to best.
Best to worst.
Best to worst. Friday is the best. Saturday is the second best. Now here's a shocker. Okay, it's so
Thursday.
underrated. What?
Are you gonna put Thursday 3?
No, Sunday.
Oh wow!
Sunday,
weekend.
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah, but people waste Sundays because they start to get in the miserable mood for Monday, which is wrong.
Yeah, they're called.
Right?
They literally have a name too. They're called the Sunday Scaries.
No, I have a shirt that says Sunday Fun Day. I do not waste Sundays. So many people waste Sundays.
Yeah, but you got to have a
get
cutoff
miserable
time,
for
right?
Monday.
You got to have a cutoff, right? You can't be Sunday fun daying until 7.
Can if
Oh,
you're
yeah,
Chewy.
you can. Yeah, you can.
Not with that attitude, you can't. All right, so we
Hey.
got Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is
God
shocking.
hates a quitter, Jen. God hates a quitter, all right?
Is that what he's known for?
Yeah. So I should get that shirt. That'd be great. Thursday, 4, Joshy.
Mm-hmm. Glamour.
Wednesday, 5, Tuesday, 6, obviously Monday, 7.
All right, that's not crazy off. But this list that Joshy found actually has Sunday as the 5th best day of the week. And I assume that can only be because they are anticipating the looming Monday, which I agree with Chewy is a waste of time. Let's not worry about Monday on Sunday and ruin Sunday.
Yeah,
but Joshy, you took real issue with this list, with these power rankings. Why?
I can't find any justifiable reason to not rank a weekend day as one of the top 3. I would probably put Saturday first because I have full range of the day. I have Friday for me has to drop. I know there's excitement of it's the weekend, but I still have to go to work. I still have things I have to complete. On a Saturday, I have bell to bell ability to do whatever I want. And there are definitely no Sunday scaries because I got Sunday to recover from whatever I did on Saturday.
So Saturday is number 1 for you.
Yeah, with a bullet.
I agree. I'm surprised Friday is number 1. I got to be honest, though, the Thursday as the last one, there are plenty of people who enjoy a thirsty Thursday. There are plenty of people who enjoy a happy hour. And if Friday is your number 1, the logic of having Thursday as your last one makes no sense to me.
I think that's sort of like the anticipation of the Friday makes it worse, but putting any day other than Monday or Wednesday at the bottom Monday or Tuesday at the bottom.
I could tell you this. My favorite week for the show, my favorite day for the show, Thursday. Thursday's my favorite show day.
Why?
Because it starts the weekend as soon as I'm done.
At 8:50, 7:50.
Yes.
She was like,
Yep.
well...
It's weekend time, baby.
Depending on what mood the Blammer's in on Thursday, can make Friday a little rocky, but rocky usually means good.
So
also, you're prone to get yourself in trouble on Blammer Thursdays.
On Fridays, yes.
Certainly get him in trouble. That's the other way that dynamic works. Okay, so just to recap, the list that Joshy found, power ranking the days of the week, says Friday, Saturday, Wednesday. Wild
Wednesday's a
that
bad
Wednesday.
day.
Wednesday, what is the significance of Wednesday? What is the distinguishing feature of Wednesday that has it number 3 on your power rankings of the days of the week? Then Monday, crazy town. Who is looking forward to Monday? How in the world are you going to try to convince me that Monday is the 4th best day of the week? Then Sunday? So Sunday is low, likely, because of the Sunday scaries anticipating Monday, but you got Monday before Sunday?
Right, and I'm anticipating 5 days of work now.
Then Tuesday, then Thursday. You know what I think they did? They just put the names in a hat and just drew them out. And that's the order that they picked for power rankings, Chew.
The only reason I could understand Monday being where it is whoever did the list loves their job and can't wait to go to work.
But then
That
why
would
would you
be
have
the only
Friday
reason.
and Saturday 1 and 2?
Alcohol. I mean,
Hey, you try hard
Right.
enough, you could drink every day of the week.
that's fair. That is very fair.
God does hate a quitter.
He does hate a quitter.
Are we making those shirts now? Is that a thing? God hates a quitter. Jen gave
I
it
think
to him.
it at least needs to be on the screen. where it has all of our sayings.
I think that might give a confusing message to the people seeking their Packers talk or their Bucks talk every day.
God hates a quitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad weighing in saying Packers Sundays cannot be lower than 2. That's an excellent point. I mean, Sunday for half the year is NFL Sunday.
Yeah.
You're watching all the games. You would think that
fair.
in and of itself would move the Sunday from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th spot on this list up to the top 3. Maybe it's not your one. I get it. Maybe you're like, it's I will say this, though. I have learned in the last few years, guys, we're messing up our weekends. We're messing up our weekends with all the stuff we got to do. The kids' activities and the grocery shopping and the this and the that and the birthday parties and the family gatherings and stuff. When's the last time you just literally sat down and vegged for a day? Josh, you don't answer that because it's probably Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, my life now is taken on. My weekends are fairly busy. Also, I do a lot of stuff that needs to get done. When I clean, there's a level of satisfaction that makes that day go better. When I get stuff done, when I had to replace my rear view mirror, and then this weekend, I'm going to be cleaning out both of the cars in the house. And to me, I'm extremely satisfied even though I'm doing chores because it feels good to accomplish things and knock things off a list and move on.
No, it's the only reason I do this radio show, guys. Right?
See, Angie gets mad at me on Saturdays because I have nothing to do. And she tries to tell me that most people do their chores on Saturday because they work.
You're sucks for them.
Well, I work.
Sucks to be them. That's what you got to say.
Yeah. So, Josh, why would Saturday be 1? Is it 1 on your list?
Saturday's a 1 to me because
if you got to do chores, why would it be 1?
Well, I don't always do them that time. Sometimes I'll do some simple things, but I have full freedom for a full day. I can, from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, do anything I want and not have to worry about going to work the next day. Where Sunday, I also enjoy and put in the top 3. But when it comes 7, 8, 9 p.m., you gotta get ready for what your
you
week
got to dial
is.
it back.
Yeah, I think Joshy's issue with this power rankings was the inconsistency. Because you make an argument for, okay, I get it why Friday and Saturday are 1 and 2, but then you follow it up with a Wednesday-Monday combo, and you're going, whoa, it really shocked me.
Yeah, Wednesday and Monday should be 6, 7 on the list.
Bump them back.
Yeah.
Bump it back.
No business being there.
And then Sunday in the middle, Tuesday, and then again, Thursday being the worst day. I love a Thursday.
Get that.
Thursday needs to be up higher on the list. Again, the closer you are to the weekend, the higher you are on the list. Chef Ed weighing in on the Carbless Talk and Text line saying, being a chef for many years, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 1, 2, and 3, weekends were killer for me.
Yeah, service industry nights are typical.
So here's what I will say, guys. We'll just, whatever your work days are versus your weekends.
Yes.
That's how I would
Let me ask you this. Would you guys rather have a Friday off or a Monday? Because I'm a Monday. I'd rather have Monday off.
Yeah, but that's all psychological.
Yeah. Because
well, what would you choose, a Friday or a Monday?
Friday.
I'd take either. I would not rank them really any different because you just shift the way your weeks work. It doesn't matter to me.
I like this philosophy from Ronnie in the 262. Saturday's the day to get your stuff done. 1, because you're productive. Sunday is 1. So he's saying Saturday is a number 2. Sunday is 1 because you can bask and relax in your glory from the accomplishments.
That's fair.
Saturday on number 2, Sunday on number 1. Joshy, I love this list. Absolutely wild, absolutely chaotic. And I love that you were no good.
I got to the point where I thought this person was trying to bait me into responding, so I didn't, and I just shared it here.
Mark says, the first beer after you get those chores done are the best beers.
Yeah, hell yeah. Pop in the shower.
In the shower with a beer?
Oh, please tell me you have experienced the glory of a shower beer.
No, because then you're going to get water in the beer.
Oh, come on.
Hell?
This amateur hour.
I've never heard of that.
This is crazy.
Shower in the beer.
Ah, jeez.
No, it's a shower beer. It's not a shower in the beer. It's a beer in the shower, but it's a shower beer. Everybody knows about the shower beer, too. I am shocked that you are ignorant to this phenomenon.
Do your showers not have shelves?
A road soda's much better.
Hey, whoa. We don't condone any of that behavior.
Soda?
You know what? Put it on the poll. Put it on the poll. Are you familiar with the phenomenon known as a shower beer? Chew, you dog walked on this one. We'll take a break. Roll on here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy right after this. A weekly pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a fan favorite and a Bucks legend. Tune in to hear Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production. Marcus and his son Chris, a 1995 UCLA hoops champ himself, talk about everything happening in the Bucks world and are joined by some of the biggest names in basketball. Stay on the beat of the Bucks and find Here District now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
The way you do business with Fifth Third Bank's commercial payments solution. Our market expertise and managed services streamline your entire payment process, seamlessly integrating with your existing systems to give you unparalleled control. Discover new revenue sources, save time, reduce operating costs, and boost your bottom line with our customized payment solutions. Fifth Third Bank, great people you are going to enjoy if you decide to work with them. Fifth Third Bank, National Association Custom Solutions, built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
Hey, Bucks fans, enjoy Michelob Ultra at Bucket's Pub Second Round Racine, Bullwinkle's in Brookfield, Stenny's Lake Country in Pewaukee, Thirsty Duck Sussex, Brewski Sports Pub and Barbecue Milwaukee, and Morton's Pub South Milwaukee. Michelob Ultra, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks.
It's what you wait for all week. The three-pointers, the rebounds, the thrill of every shot. Win or lose, it's the hope that keeps you coming back. The dream that this time, it might be your year. And so you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when the pressure's on, your support is everything. That's why the NBA store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Look what I found.
What is it?
It's a list of the traditional and modern anniversary gifts for each year of marriage.
Sarah and I use a different list. But go ahead and tell us about yours.
The traditional gift for your first anniversary is paper, but the modern gift is a clock.
Well, our list says the first anniversary is always diamond jewelry.
What's your list called?
The People's Choice.
The traditional gift for your 6th anniversary is iron, but the modern gift is wood.
What a coincidence. For the 6th anniversary, our list says diamonds again. What do you have for the 10th anniversary, Rick?
Traditional is aluminum, modern is diamond jewelry.
Well, there you go. Our lists agree. What have you got for the 7th anniversary?
Copper and a desk set.
Nope. Diamonds again.
I'm beginning to see the wisdom of the People's Choice list.
It's good to have you on board.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Did you make up that People's Choice list, or is it real?
Well, we're people, aren't we?
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Let's talk about home turf. Your lawn is a reflection of your pride, hard work, and even competitive spirit. If you want a yard that makes the neighbors stop and stare, you need the right plan. That's where Weedman Lawn Care comes in. Weedman's lawn care program is kid and pet friendly, uses golf course quality fertilizer, and has an effective weed treatment to dominate any issue. Get a free quote of Weedman's winning formula for your yard at weedman.com and get 50% off your first treatment. That's weedman.com. Weedman for the win.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
The other side of the world, and I'll let you know if I want to come back and coach your little game.
He's Jay Peterman.
Ian Rappaport tweeting yesterday, and I thought this was interesting. The Broncos the last 2 weeks. You guys done?
I got more.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Well, I fell out of my chair. I fell out of the chair.
Josh DiMaggio here for my friends at Wanna Parlay. Wanna Parlay is a new daily fantasy sports app I just found out with the largest payouts on parlays. It's called Wanna Parlay. WANNA. It's just $2 for taking a shot to take home a huge cash prize. It's a blast and so simple to use, and there are new basketball, hockey, baseball, and combat sports contests every single week. And again, the best part, it's only $2. Here's what you should do. Download the Wanna Parlay app, click around, and if you decide to upload money to play and get into the action, use promo code JGC for a 100% deposit match up to $250. Put in $20 and they'll give you 20 more. So download the Wanna Parlay app, use promo code JGC, and let's play the richest parlay today. Code JGC. Must be 18 years or older to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER today.
We put it on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll this morning. Do you like your neighbors? Chewy's having a bit of a conflict with his neighbor in Florida. We got some good stories this morning about people and their neighbors. There were some fictional ones that showed up on the old carbless talk and text line that I did not entertain. Some fan fiction that people were throwing out there. 69% of people say
nice.
They do like their neighbors. Chris says, I don't have neighbors. I purposefully moved to the country so I wouldn't have neighbors because I don't like people. Meanwhile, Jonathan says that they were the youngest couple when they moved in and started sending out a neighborhood text saying they'd have 2 to 3 post-work beers in the driveway, got 40% average attendance, and it brought the neighborhood closer. Highly recommend. Chew, you think you're sharing a beverage with your neighbor anytime soon?
I do. The Blammer every Thursday.
Not that neighbor, you bozo.
Best neighbor around.
No, the Ivy guy.
You know what? We did invite him to the New Year's party.
Oh,
They're
nice.
fine. It'll be fine.
Of course.
I think it's an old person thing, which happens.
How soon before you're the old person?
I don't know. What's the number on being old?
How old is your neighbor?
If I was to guess, 70s.
Okay. You got a few more.
I think 70 is the number. Is 70 the number?
Because I got to be honest, you are creeping towards get off my lawn guy.
Oh, I've been there I've been there for 15 years already. Yeah.
Oh, so this is a different tier then. The old guy.
Yeah.
Do you agree with Chewy that Brian Gutekunst has a 3-year deadline to get to or win a Super Bowl? Early return, since we just put this on the Infinity Exteriors poll, 78% of people say yes. And again, if you missed it yesterday, Chewy did talk about why he believes Brian Gutekunst needs to have a deadline, why Ed Policy needs to put pressure on his GM. Lots of reaction to that. You can find that on the ESPN Milwaukee and Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter accounts. So, Chew, right now, 80% of people agree with you. Clock's ticking, man. Clock's ticking. Time to make it happen, Goody.
He's only talking about the people who agree with him. That's all he cares about.
It's 80% right now, though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's solid. That's good stuff.
That's the biggest win you've had in a while.
It really is.
Might be the only
Although
one
I
I've
don't
had in a
think
while.
that the shower beer is going to go your way, buddy.
No.
Wilde and Tausch is next on ESPN Milwaukee. Have a great one, everybody.